Welcome back to the Soul of Generation X. We've been taking a little time off, but we are back in rolling. My guest tonight is once again our good buddy Lynn, and he's going to be providing some insights into what's going on with the situation that we came to us in November. So, hey, we got Lynn here. So, hey, Lynn, how you doing?
I'm doing outstanding, as usual. Despite the circumstances that we're facing in the world today, I'm doing good.
Hey, that's everybody, man. All the anxiety and it's going around. So, well, you've been, taking some time off, been traveling. What's been going on? How you been doing?
Just taking time off to assess the situation at hand. Just been out talking to folks and just getting the temperature of the community,
Right.
the county, and just talking to people in general about how they feeling right about now. To see what their mindset's at.
Gotcha. And what are you finding out? I mean, what are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing that quite a few people are having buyer's remorse. I'm just not talking to Democrats and independents. I'm talking to diehard Republicans.
Right.
Who's telling me this. So that's what I'm seeing out there. That's what I'm hearing.
So you're getting that FAFO.
Yeah. You messed around and found out.
You messed
So
around.
yes, I'm getting a lot of that. But I'm also getting people who are willing to stick it out and take their chances. So, I wouldn't say it's a mixed bag. I would say more buyer's remorse than mixed bag.
Buyer's remorse. Yeah, I think I'm kind of seeing a lot of that too, subtly. On and what issues are you mostly hearing with that buyer's remorse that you can?
Well, the big elephant in the room is job loss and tariffs. The price of eggs have not been mentioned by this administration, so that's rubbing people the wrong way. The price of food has risen. I don't see a bottom on it yet, but the price of groceries are steady going up, and people are losing their jobs. So we'll see.
Yeah, job loss, and now these tariffs that we've been hearing about are actually coming into, as we would say, fruition. And they're going to be a little bit deeper than I think people would be expecting. Anything on that?
Well, we get in a trade war with your third highest trade partner. You got Canada, Mexico, then China, and then the rest of the world. So you get in a trade war with our friends, people that depend on us and we depend on them, and stock market's taking the hit. The Dow Jones is falling right before our eyes, and people are losing their shirts, they're losing their life savings, they're losing their 401k, which is probably a 101k now with all the losses. So we lost $6 trillion in 2 days.
$6 trillion in 2
days. That's money
days.
out of the economy that you can't never get back.
That's insane, man. That
It's
is
totally
insane. That is, I mean, but I'll bring this up later in the show, but that is insane. Wow, you pretty much summed it up there as far as tariffs. So,
right.
But and they're real. Actually, I got an email today from a car parts vendor that I buy from online, and it said, had my name on there. It said, due to the tariff situation, which went into effect as they put on their April 3rd. I guess technically they're saying, hey, go to the website, buy up, blah blah blah, because things are going to be going up. And I'm like, wow, this is real.
Yes. It's extremely real, and people need to take it seriously because when you talk about tariffs, you talk about prices rising on everyday things that we use, from vacuum cleaners to cell phones to chips to cars to metal, lumber, steel, clothes. All of that. All of that is made overseas, and you're going to see prices 2, 3, 4 times higher than they were before. I mean, because you got to understand that the retailers are going to pass that cost, that expense right on to the consumer. So, and what tariff does, once the prices go up, then people don't buy. So now when people don't buy, you got people losing their businesses, small businesses. You got people not buying cars. You got people getting laid off of jobs because the revenue's not coming in. And you create global tension. And that's what we've seen the last couple of days, global tension. So Donald Trump has single-handedly, he was handed a good economy from Joe Biden. Joe Biden actually inherited a bad economy from Donald Trump. So in less than 100 days, he was able to put calamity and hardship on the world stage, because you got to understand, everybody, the dollar was the backstop. The U.S. bonds was a backstop to a lot of this. Now that our bond has fallen, and our dollar has fallen, now you got other countries that are actually negotiating with everyone else except the United States. So when would you ever hear China, South Korea, and Japan work on a partnership together? So when the United States are backing off and becoming a separatist nation, you got countries like China, Japan, the United Kingdom, France. All those guys are stepping up, filling that void, and we're actually going to be isolated, because you got to understand, those jobs that we lost years and years ago, and other countries are doing those jobs now, we're never going to get those jobs back. The big factories, the days of that's over. That's never coming back.
Right.
So this is a self-inflicted wound, as they say in the military. This is shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, it really is, and I think you hear people saying they don't know what tariffs are. They don't know what they know what tariffs are. They know they. I mean, and it's not your leader. It's the people surrounding him doing this, so they know what tariffs are. But for our followers out there, let's break it down to them. Some people who may be listening, trying to learn something. Let's break down what a tariff actually is. You want to start out on that?
Yeah, I'll just start. Tariff, the put it in layman's term, is a tax on the American people. It's a tax on the consumer. It's a tax that you should not have to pay. You don't have to pay when prices are low. When everybody's working together, there's no tariffs. We're trading with everybody like we should. The reason I'm trying to put it where, because we have allowed, which is okay, to let other countries, charge us a little bit more, but it's for our national security. It's for some of the benefits that we get. It's like you trade off one thing to get another. You trade off this to get another. So it's actually worked in our favor to keep tariffs off the table. Yeah, we understand that China may be getting over a little bit, some other countries, but in essence, we're able to do other things that we wouldn't be able to do if we got into a crazy tariff war with other countries. So a tariff is nothing but a tax on the American consumer, on consumers.
Right, on the consumer. Whereas, like, if we broke it down, also even to the point of, we get a lot of things from China. We get, I believe, like 70% uh, of various items and goods from China.
Yes.
So when you're placing that tariff, as you call it, you're putting that tariff. Then when that item, say, comes into the docks,
Right.
that tariff would already have to be paid by that vendor
Yes. Yes.
before that truck backs up, that tractor trailer, which we know about, backs up and
Exactly.
takes that container on to where it's going. So in turn, when that container gets to where it's going, or that warehouse, that vendor would have paid that tariff, which would be going to the government, right?
Right.
And then in turn, Johnny Williams goes down to buy that item or part. He's going to receive on that end a price increase
Yes. Yes.
because of that tariff that your leader placed.
Exactly.
That okay, so just want to bring it down a little bit,
Right.
even more for just some of our younger listeners or just listeners who just don't know.
And just and one more thing, real quick, I was want to add
yeah,
on
go
that.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So let's say if you paid for an item that was China got hit with a 148% tariff. So if you paid for something that was yesterday that was $48, tomorrow you're going to pay $148 for it.
Oh man,
Simple as that. Think about it in those terms. How much more you're going to have to shell out your pocket to pay for an item that you normally would pay $48 for.
It's insane. I heard one of our sister podcasts. I heard a young lady. She was upgrading her studio, her podcast studio, and she had been meaning to buy this mic that's normally $60. And of course, most of our electronics come from China. Well, most of them, China and got some things from Mexico, but this particular mic was coming from China. And she said the mic was normally $60. I have an idea which one. Nice quality mic. And to go on what you said about that 148% tariff, what you said just now, right?
Yeah.
You said, okay, that mic, she said normally 60, and she wanted it badly. She paid $300 for it.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah. That's yesterday.
$300 because she wanted. I don't know exactly the brand, and we won't mention that because we're not advertising for them. But she said her price, and she said she had to have quality, but it came out a little bit over $300.
Right. Yeah.
So, just bouncing off what you just said about that, that's what we're dealing with right now. Which is really, it makes no sense.
So you think about the simple things like just even bottled water. Plastic is sent over here from China to put the water in the bottles. So your bottled water is going to go from maybe $1 if you're paying $1 for it to $3 or $4.
Just one bottle.
One bottle. So as they usually say, as the young people say, you can count Christmas out. You can count Christmas out because those manufacturers like Nintendo and all the other the Nike and all those other shoe companies, you can cancel Christmas, as they say.
Okay, yeah. So basically, we just kind of broke tariff down for for our listeners out there who, because a lot of people don't understand. They don't remember civics, high school civics, and I mean, not putting anybody down, but that's basically what it is. That's what I think I first heard about a tariff in junior high.
Right.
And so hopefully we got that over to you all.
Stock up on your bottled water.
Or buy a Brita filter.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking about doing.
Listen, I went out and got 33 cases of water.
And folks, he is not lying. did do that. So
Yes.
in case, yeah, he actually did. That is no joke. That is no joke. Wow. Oh man. Okay. Well, I tell you on that note there, uh, as I say, with that being said, um, let's move on to our next topic, which this one here, uh, it kind of relates to, I'd say, wastefulness uh, that we all are being, besides the tariff, but we all are going to be taking a hit for this particular topic here. And this one here deals with the high cost of presidential travel, which Representative Jasmine Crockett criticized the president, our present president, for billing taxpayers approximately $30 million for his frequent golfing trips. And she said it highlights concerns about government spending and efficiency, which she's concerned about. What can you give us on that, Lynn? And how did that hit you? Because
Wow.
I know you and Jasmine. I know y'all tight, and you follow a lot of things. We trust Jasmine. How did that hit you?
So if you go back when Donald Trump was in his first term, when he ran for office the first time, he complained about, oh, Obama, he's playing all this golf. He's playing golf. That's all he does is play golf every day and blah, blah, blah. He don't do any work. But I'll be the president that stays in the White House and I won't play golf at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lie. It was a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump has spent, this is no lie, $26 million so far going from Washington, D.C. to Mar-a-Lago to play golf. $26 million. You know how much it costs an hour for Air Force One to fire up the jets and fly to Mar-a-Lago?
What's that?
$142,000 an hour.
Mm.
Now,
Okay.
for $142,000, we could take Delta and ride first class in Delta Sky Miles or Delta Comfort and be there in the same amount of time. But $142,000 an hour
To fire up Air Force
One to fly to Mar-a-Lago or West Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
It costs the Secret Service. It costs us
Right.
$250,000 a day every time he goes to play golf.
That's for all the agents together.
Now, and this is just not just for them to be there, but for them to stay there.
Right. Right.
Because you got to understand, the Secret Service is paying him, Donald Trump, to protect him.
Yes.
It cost him $2 million because he charges the Secret Service to stay at his resorts or his hotels.
Yes. Yes.
So they're actually paying him to protect him.
You read my mind on that. Yeah. And they charges him to rent his golf carts as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think I heard something about you're looking at to lodge like $600 a night or something like that.
Well, they've already racked up $2 million. In less than 100 days.
Okay, so you're going in on that just as a total, but as a single trip, you're looking at like $600 a night per agent. Correct?
Pretty much. Well, two people to a room, pretty much, I guess. So you're looking at that, yeah. You're looking at.
I heard it was single rooms.
It could be single room, but it wouldn't surprise me. But so far, he's racked up $2 million, and this is just not just for them to travel. This is for them to sleep, to eat breakfast. So, and the funny thing about it, in 4 years, now this is 4 years.
Okay.
Obama. Not just playing golf, but traveling, doing what his presidential duties.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 years, Obama cost taxpayers $97 million
in 4 years.
in 4 years.
Okay.
Trump, 4 years in office,
Mm-hmm.
he cost taxpayers $960 million.
No, 960.
$960 million to $97 million. And we want to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. We need to start at the top.
And we paying for this.
And this was his first term. Now, God knows what his at the end of his 4 years secretary, he probably hit $1 trillion. Easy.
Exactly, because that was the first
$1 billion.
term.
I'm sorry, $1 billion.
That was the first term you just described just now, and he's already done 26 to 30 million already.
Yes. Yeah, that's just golf. Now he hasn't been anywhere. He hasn't been out the country.
Mm-hmm.
He has not been out the country yet.
Right.
This is just going from DC to Mar-a-Lago.
Hey, but I had to laugh when you say, where out of the country can he go?
Yeah.
As a felon.
Yeah.
He can't go to many places, you know. I had to just throw that in there. I just
But you see where the people don't understand and they get confused and they think, well, he's looking out for us. No, he's not looking out for you.
No.
He's not looking out for me. He's not looking out for you. He's looking out for himself and his rich billionaire buddies. All right.
Yeah, that's all it is.
We talk about Doge. Oh, they're doing this great work. Start with the president. There's got to be a better way to travel.
And this comes back to us now. For our younger listeners out there, and just for our listeners, some that don't realize, let's break that down to back in the day when we were in high school, washing dishes at restaurants. Okay, how much of our hourly pay would be coming out to pay for that? That's because we, you know, I'm just saying you're paying for it.
Yeah.
You know, young person out there that might be listening, you know, young lady, young man, who's straddling the fence. What Lynn just described, that wastefulness that Lynn just described, when you look at your stub, right, your statement, tell them where that's coming from, Lynn.
Oh, that's coming out your paycheck. That's coming out your paycheck. When you see less and less of your check, that's where it's coming from to pay for his airplane flights to go play golf.
That tax that you see on your stub.
That FICA.
Yeah, that's that right there. Tell them, man. Tell them
that
what
FICA, that federal income tax.
Mm-hmm.
That when they take that out your check, and I get mine every week, and I'm looking at it like, God dang.
Yeah, exactly.
It's killing me.
Yeah, killing me, Smalls.
But I'm looking at this guy taking flight from. Now he'll be getting on a flight maybe tonight, headed down to Mar-a-Lago to play golf, or he might be flying to the Masters. But you and I and everybody under the sound of our voice got to pay for that.
We paying for it.
We paying for it.
We up, when you see that FICA, on your check, you know, young, not just young older folk, but young person, young lady, young man. That what Lynn just described, that wastefulness, you are paying for it. So don't say I don't want to vote, I don't want to do this, I'm not going to do this. You helping.
You help, yeah.
You help it out. You contributing.
Right.
So that's just that makes just, I mean, wow.
And see, that goes back to, we know that now that people should understand that this money is coming out, your check, you're paying for this. Why not get out and vote? Why not make your voice heard? Because your money showing up getting heard. It's getting used. Use your vote.
Exactly.
You're gonna use my money. I'm gonna use my power to vote.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it matters. It really matters. Because Joe Biden, in his 4 years, he did, I think he was like $47 or $50 million in all 4 years. He was less than Obama.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because Joe Biden didn't go golfing. You know, Joe Biden, he'll take the train and ride the train home, whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't golf.
Right. He didn't not really a golfer, right? Exactly. And, what you're saying there too, Lynn, is it kind of parallels to, you just told a young person or just anybody, just older folk too, hey, you need to get out there and, the man is taking your money. You at
Right.
least get out there and have some say
Right.
to where it's going. But also, I think I get another point, and I heard Roland, our buddy Roland, talking about that. He was on the Native Land podcast, and he was talking about, you know, uh, we need to have more, take more initiative in our local uh, elections. You
Correct.
know that makes a big difference, a bigger difference than you think. School boards or council, local judge, um, just various elections that are local. Give us some feedback on that. What do you think?
The local elections.
Yeah.
Well, all elections are local. All politics are local. So people have got to understand that this is where it starts at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
Having good candidates that can run and that can get elected, we
Mm-hmm.
have to get behind them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think
Right.
that your voice doesn't matter. We need people out there that can run for these positions. You can't be afraid. This now is not the time to be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time where, we hear the words of Kennedy that said, "Ask not what you can do for what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country."
Big country.
And
Right.
that's so true. Ask
Mm-hmm.
what you can do in your community to make it better. Run for the school board. Run for a city commission, council, a county commissioner. Don't be afraid to
Mm-hmm.
step out there and get it done, because you'd be surprised if you go out there and speak honestly to the people, you know, and you put the good foot forward, and you tell it like it is, and you're not ashamed to stand up for what you believe in. You never know what'll happen, but you got to try. So, local elections are important, and we got to make sure that in those off-year elections we get out and vote. We just can't vote every
Yeah.
4 years. Now,
Right.
when president run for president. No,
Yeah.
those special elections count. We just had a
Yeah.
special election where we had
Mm-hmm.
a guy that won that should not have won. He's horrible, but yet people didn't show up to vote.
Didn't
So
show up.
we've got to do better,
Didn't
and
show up.
get out there and vote in our local elections.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Very good on that one. I just wanted, because I just want to throw that in there. Um, I want to jump over now to a more touchier subject, and that's what I've kind of been hearing. We kind of started to show off part of this, but we didn't get really deep into it. But let's jump over into, okay. And I'm hearing this, and I'm gonna tell you, it just bounced it off me, and I have no feeling for it. But I'm hearing this. Oh, he said he was going to do this for us, and do this, and do that, and and it didn't. I didn't know it was going to happen to me too. Uh, like, what I'm saying? I mean, what are you hearing a lot of that? I mean, he's told us he was going to do this, and that's why we voted for him. But now it's happening to us. So you didn't care if it happened to that marginalized person over there or that other person. Um, but now that it's happening to you, then you lost your job. Your 401k is shrinking. You didn't, you know, how do you deal with that kind of noise, Lynn? And I know you hear a lot of that. I
Well,
don't, I don't,
I can tell you, there's been um, so much of that. As I said earlier, as we were talking at the beginning of the show, of the buyer's remorse that people are having. Um, it's not like it was hidden from anybody.
no.
They wrote a book about it.
Wrote a book.
They wrote a
Exactly.
book. It was 2025. Project 2025. It was actually it was one of the best sellers.
Yeah,
So
it sure was.
it was out there. His supporters, his top people that is in his cabinet now, they talked about it. You know, Vice President Harris.
Yeah, I was gonna say VP Harris told you every time she got up.
Every time she got up, she told you the playbook. You know, it's like this. It's like you're taking a test and the teacher gave you the answers, but yet you don't want to believe that. No, that can't be the right answers. That can't be.
You know,
but yet they gave you the answers. They gave you the playbook. You know, it's like I coach football.
Open book test. Open book test. Open book test.
Open book test. And if I had a chance to get the other team's playbook, and I look at it, I ain't gonna do that. Nah, they're gonna do something else. I'd be a fool not to take the playbook and learn it.
At least look at it.
Look at it. So what you have is a situation where people never thought it would happen to them until it happened to them. And so now, as again, we got to use that word, buyer's remorse. You can't take it back. It's not like you could take that, you know what, this didn't work. I wish I had got the receipt, I could take it back. No, you can't take that back for another 4 years. So you're stuck with that. Yeah. So you got farmers losing their farms. Yeah. You got federal workers, and a lot of those federal workers voted for Donald Trump.
Yep, sure did.
They're losing their jobs. Mm-hmm. You got people in the Midwest that can't sell their beans to pinto beans or whatever beans to China because of the tariffs, and you got total chaos and anarchy, and people crying the blues. But listen, like songs like Firefall had a song that said, "Don't cry to me, don't cry to me." And on top of that, you had a lot of my Hispanic brothers and sisters who voted for this guy. Now he's one of the biggest supporters of Hispanics.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
And as far as let me just say this real quick. As far as my black brothers and sisters, oh God, who voted for this man? You see, they don't want you in the military. They don't want you in college. DEI has run rampant. They rather put a guy that's a DUI in charge of the military instead of DEI.
Yeah.
Yes. Headsgate, whatever his name is. So it's a sad state of affairs. But we were warned. Like Steve Smith said, you've been warned.
We were warned.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And and to take it a little bit deeper, to not be so politically correct. You're dealing with, you brought up Hispanics, Black, but we haven't really mentioned the Caucasian folks.
Well, yeah.
And these people that I'm hearing on TikTok and various places, I'm looking at some of these crazy stories, this insane stories where this one lady said, well, he said he was going to do this, but I voted for him, but it wasn't supposed to happen to us. And I'm like, she had the nerve to say, and that's what we are dealing with here is you voted for that because you thought them brown people over there and them darkies over there, it was only going to mess with them. Correct. Now you walked into your job and you got a pink slip sitting on your desk. You got a pink slip in the email, or you looked at your 401k and it's dry. You voted for this. You voted, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. I have no feeling for these people. I have no sympathy for these people. And I know they say we're supposed to pull together and do this, but they didn't have any feeling for me. Right. And they came out with the statistics. They said every 2 out of 3 Caucasian women voted for him, and then they come out with another statistic: 60% of Caucasian men, right? Yeah. Voted. Is that kind of cool? So you're looking like that's like right. So that's like basically when you're walking out, you're at the mall or something at the mall, but you're at the restaurant. Basically, 1 out of every 2 Caucasian men voted for him. Basically, and
Yeah,
then
basically, yeah.
and then 2 out of every 3 Caucasian. So you're looking at these people, and you're like, and it took me a while to get over this, because that's some serious numbers, and to
Well,
see
yeah.
that you basically voted against not just me, but I mean, because but you basically did. But now that it's come back, you have the nerve to say it wasn't supposed to happen to us. Some of them, not all of them. It wasn't supposed to happen to us. That
Right.
wasn't supposed to happen. And that's the part I can't get over. That's like I said, I have no sympathy and no feeling for any, and that goes black, white,
Right.
Hispanic, any of. If you voted for him, I have no feeling for you. I have no. I mean, because hey, we gonna be all right. We
Yeah,
we
we're
we
gonna be
we
fine.
we we we've been through this for years.
Yeah.
Taking half-ass treatment of this
Yep.
and that, and
Yep.
our parents went through this. We
Oh
we
yeah.
know we know how to survive.
Right.
We know what we need to do. But I'm just gonna sit back and watch you. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You didn't think this would happen
Right.
to you,
Right.
and that DEI stuff, all that. People get so I'm not all that into DEI, because DEI wasn't for us.
No.
DEI came as a side to the civil rights
Yeah.
movement. And if you go on the list, we come in as Black Americans. We come in like number 7.
Yeah. We're way down on the totem pole
We're
when
way
it
down.
comes to
So
DEI.
I get carried. I mean, DEI, man, DEI wasn't created for us.
No.
It wasn't. People people see oh man, we can't hire this person. DEI, he's a DEI hire. He's a DEI
Right.
hire. Well, you need to go look up what the definition of DEI and where it came from, because it's not us.
Yeah. I mean, that to your point, DEI. White women.
Yes.
They're the biggest
Number one. Number
recipients
one.
of
Yes.
DEI. The
Yes.
biggest
Yes.
recipient.
Came about from
And
the civil rights. Yeah.
it's and I kind of harbor those sentiments to an extent of how you feel, because my thing it's okay as long as it's happening to someone else, but when it comes knocking at your door, then it's a problem. Oh, I didn't think it was meant for me. Well, who did you think it was meant for? Because you got to understand. Listen, those people don't care about you. If you're not in that bracket where you're making $10-50 million a year, they give less than a damn about you.
Hey, Les,
White, black, Hispanic, they don't care where you're from.
Martian, they don't
Yeah,
care.
they don't care. So, yeah, I felt that way, and I still have some of those sentiment feelings about, I'm feeling so bad, and I didn't think he was going to fire me, or my wife or my husband going to lose a job, and because some of those same people that work for the government voted for him. Some of those same teachers that teach schools voted for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some of those same farmers that's losing their crop and their fields voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those same people who getting deported down to Venezuela and back to Cuba and Haiti and all these other places voted for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like a mixed bag with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel bad for the people who didn't vote for him. They got caught up in this bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
But for those who didn't want to read the playbook, I don't feel sorry for you.
Don't feel, yeah.
You don't do your homework and you get an F on your grade, I'm sorry. Piss, that's just a piss poor excuse.
Exactly. It doesn't. The only I guess you would say I can't think of the word, but because I said I had no feeling for it. The only thing I thought about this, say salvage. That's what salvaging out of this would be. And this came to me like almost like a Machiavellian type of thought. And Machiavelli, his thoughts, how he did some wild things. Some things are happening that the only thing that came to me is that maybe what's happening was supposed to happen. It needed to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to suffer through this to bring everybody together.
Right.
Maybe that guy down the street that wants to be a MAGA or whatever he wants to be and can't stand to be in the same place that a marginalized a black person is. Maybe all these people now are seeing that, we are all alike unless we're, like you said, a $50 million person. We
Right.
all should come together. Maybe this needs to happen. Maybe gas needs to get $10, $12 a gallon. Maybe the food the shelves need to be just start wiping them clean because I'm gonna be all right. I ain't worried
Yeah.
about it. And
Yeah.
and maybe this needs to happen for them to say, hey, you might be brown or black, but your blood is red. Our blood is red. Our blood is ready. We need to pull together and you riding around here with that big flag on your truck and
Right.
why you need to do that? You riding around with that flag and you still that ain't gonna make your gas come down to $2. You
Nope.
still gonna pay what we all paying.
Right.
And what you gonna do? Go in the store and go to the warehouse? No, you gonna be just like everybody else. So maybe this needed to happen, and I'm willing. Honest, I'm talking to you right now. I'm willing to go through it to maybe bring us together because I'm thinking about my grandbabies. I'm
Right.
thinking about our kids, our grandbabies that they weren't supposed to be having to do this.
No, it wasn't.
They weren't supposed to be having to do this.
No, it wasn't.
Generation X, we failed them.
We have failed.
We have
generation
failed,
has failed.
and that's black, white. Oh, Generation X has failed. Now, the baby boomers, our parents and grandparents, they put in the work.
Yeah.
They put in the work to get us to where we at right now.
Right.
But Generation X, white, black, everybody we failed the new folks coming up, the new kids, our kids and grandkids. And so maybe this needs to happen.
Yeah, maybe it does need to happen. And I've always said that we're probably going to hit rock bottom in this country, where we're going to be dragging our knuckles on the ground, and people are going to be in the bread line and the soup line, begging for food. That's why I put my order in for that non-perishable food for 3 months. 25-year non-perishable food lasts for 3 months. I'm waiting on that to come in, but it really grinds my gears that people that I know, and I wrote an article on Facebook about
Substack. You got a Substack?
No, I don't have a Substack. I'm going to get a Substack though.
Yeah,
but I wrote an article about this. The people that I grew up with, that we grew up together. We came up through the '80s, break dancing, wearing the Aladdin pants and the funny hairdos and skate ring together, and all that. Some of the same people that
playing ball together. We played ball.
Cool, with the prom with and grad night. We were supposed to be that generation of ushering in from our parents to us. Yeah. We the one that brought style and colors to the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought in 100 years or maybe million years that Generation X would turn out to be more racist, more prejudiced than the people that came up in the 50s and the 60s.
I did. I saw some of your work on Facebook. I've seen it, and you go right at them. Lynn, let me tell y'all, Lynn coming right at you. Lynn coming right at you like a cannonball. He want to see if you're real or not. And I just sit back and I watch him confronting some of these people. He isn't scared to confront you on that. And he'll come at you. And I've read some of the things. I'm gonna tell you, people. Some of the things that these people that I see that we went to school with, it's you hear the word about. It's not sad. It's just ridiculous. I mean, to see some of the answers and things that when he asked them about certain things and why they're backing somebody and I look at that and it's just like I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I look at that, and those people, I know some of them, and I say, I have no feeling. I'm cold as ice. I have no feeling for them, and I mean, because I can't believe it. So they need to go through whatever it is. But Lynn comes straight at them, and yeah, I just wanted to add that because
Yep.
it's sad, man.
It is. It is.
Welcome back to the Soul of Generation X. We had some good discussion this evening, and we're going to turn it over right now to Lynn. He has some thoughts and comments that he'd like to bring up.
United Nations.
United Nations. Oh wow.
United Nations.
What do you got on that? What you got on? What's your research been on that?
I'm going to kind of blend the two, the United Nations and NATO together.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, the original 5 countries that started the United Nations was China, France, Soviet Union, United Kingdom, and the USA. And that was, you know, back in 1945, it was founded.
Okay.
To beat back, you know, aggression and, you know, to try to keep the peace in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You know, 194 countries in the United Nations that represent the United Nations. Palestine is being the latest one that was brought into the United Nations in 2012. I just hate that the United States has took the position under Donald Trump to pull back from not only the United Nations but also NATO to threaten our enemies to fight against democracy.
Okay.
And to side with a dictator. You know, with all the global challenges in the world today that we have to face, you know, for the United States to pull a stunt like this under the Donald Trump administration is total asinine.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, you know, how are we ever going to work on climate change and, you know, stop hunger in the world and, you know, put these bad actors in place and the things that the United States have been known for is taking the lead on a lot of this. Now we're taking our ball and going home. And it doesn't make us more safe. It puts us in danger. It puts our troops in danger. It puts our citizens in danger. And it puts our economy in danger. I said this yesterday on
I'm going to jump in real quick on that, Lid. So our listeners who aren't fully aware of NATO, NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization, correct?
Correct.
And it's made up of like what 28, 30?
Yep, about
30 countries.
Yep.
Okay, and it's basically a military movement. Basically, it came about what in the 50s, 40s or 50s, something like that.
Right.
And promote peace
right.
and security among its countries that are part of it. So I just want to bring that in so people will understand how much needed and how we shouldn't be messing with this. So go ahead and continue.
Right, and just want to make sure that they understand NATO and United Nations are not one and the same.
Right.
So
not one is,
with the United Nations, with NATO, you know, America was, you know, there's no NATO without America.
Right.
Because when you have one of the best, the strongest military in the world, and see, that's the trade-off. Because we're able to set up all these bases all over the world. You know, when it comes to tariffs, they let us use their land to set up military bases, help keep our troops safe.
Keep our troops safe.
You know, our troops keeps us safe. Our intelligence keeps us safe. But you got people in positions now in the Trump administration who don't have a clue.
No clue.
They are way in over their head. Donald Trump is way in over his head.
Oh my God.
I mean, and God forbid, man, if I was in the military right now, I would actually be afraid.
Oh God.
I would be afraid for my brothers and sisters who would be in danger. The intelligence of people that are working undercover to give us information would be in danger.
I'm so glad
So
my youngest son is out of the military right now. You
yeah,
wouldn't believe
yeah.
it. I'm so glad.
So now you got
Oh God.
you got countries that won't even share information with us because
Mm.
they can't trust us. And it's really bad because you know we got you got people that are siding with a dictator
Hmm.
over a man who's fighting for his country in Vladimir Zelensky.
Mm.
The man is actually is begging the United States, don't
Hmm.
turn your back on us.
I mean,
We can't win this war without you.
that guy's he's amazing. He is in this. I mean, he's amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, the perfect example of what a leader should be.
yeah.
You know?
He didn't
Wow.
run. He didn't run into exile.
No.
And he could
No.
have just left his country and him and his family would have been safe. And
No.
then Russia would have marched through Ukraine and took over the country.
Mm.
But he stayed there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He stayed there. And
Hmm.
everybody want to talk about Joe Biden. I just got to say this:
Hmm.
Joe Biden is a man's man, and the reason I say it because
Exactly.
this man went to Ukraine, took a train for 15 hours
Hmm.
into the middle of combat, and met with Zelensky
Hmm.
while a full scale war is going on over there.
Hmm.
This is what Joe Biden did.
That's what he did.
Yeah, and but yet people want to break it. I know I'm getting off subject a little bit,
No, no, no. You
but I
good
just had to say that
that's good that you brought that up
because we
because
always
people want
want
to
people
deny.
want
Oh,
to criticize.
he's old. Yeah, yeah. Joe's
Yeah,
getting older. He got
yeah,
everybody's going to get older. Keep living. You're
yeah.
going to get older, but he still gave 100%.
He gave
And
it.
your leader today
Yeah.
has the nerve to continue to bring up his name.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Why? But I just want to go ahead. Just had to-
No, you're right. But and so getting back on track with United Nations and NATO, America led the world.
Mhm.
You know, we used to be able to walk around with our head held high, not pride and
Mhm.
puffed up in pride, but pride for that
Mhm.
the red, white, and blue stood for something.
Mhm. Yep.
In less than
Mhm.
80 days,
Yeah.
80 days,
Is it 80? Right about 80?
about 80 days, yeah.
About 80, yeah.
This man has tarnished the
Mhm.
reputation. He has sullied the good name of the United States of America. And I told somebody this. I said, listen, you know what, really?
Mhm.
I can't fault Donald Trump for this.
No, no. Good.
I can't fault him
Great
for
point.
this.
Great point.
I got to fault America for this.
Exactly, man. You were reading my mind just now.
I got to fault America for
Exactly.
this.
Exactly.
This falls on America. See, Donald Trump is just a puppet.
A puppet. Just
This is
puppet in the show.
America's problem. Donald Trump he's really non-significant because only reason he's doing it because he has the power that America gave him. So this is
Yes.
an American problem, not a Donald Trump problem.
You read my mind, and I tell you that's why I haven't said his name hardly any in this show because it's not him really. It's not, and I used to get angry at him,
Right.
but and the way he says some things sometime and the way he talks about Joe
Yeah.
Biden, and I'm like, man, this guy looks like he has senility. I mean, it just his. I can't totally get mad at him, but you said it. It's America.
This is
It's
America.
America. You're seeing people when you're out in public. You did this to us.
Yeah.
Y'all
You did.
did it. Y'all did it to us. And,
Yeah.
and I'm just picking on one group. If you pick that man, when you went in the voting booth, I don't care what color you are. You're the reason for that.
You're the reason.
You're the cause.
Yeah.
And that's what makes my cold side come out. And I'm sitting there, join together with your brothers and
Yeah.
sisters. Join together. I'm gonna sit there and watch you find out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit there and watch you find out.
Yeah.
Cause I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah. It'll be all right.
We gonna be. We've been through this from way back.
Yeah.
We've never gotten
Right.
the best end of the stick or the top. We've always gotten the it's people. I just
Yeah.
man, it just what you said, it just hit me. Just man,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. This is America fault. This is the people of America fault.
it's people.
This is
America.
not Donald Trump fault. What he doing?
Yeah, and
This
you
is
need to
America.
feel it. Feel it. feel it. The farmers out there, feel it, feel it. And I even heard some stuff about that where they trying to push them out, so they can buy up their land. I heard
Yeah,
something like that. So,
yeah,
I saw 3 farmers being interviewed. The guy, the reporter said, "Would you vote for him again?" No, we wouldn't vote for him again.
yeah,
And I kind of like, yeah, you probably
yeah.
would.
Probably
You
would.
just saying that right
If
now,
all
because
things were equal again, you
yeah,
probably
you,
would go
you
back.
just saying,
Yeah,
because you lost all your, he ran your labor out.
right.
Talking about some, sending your labor back. People who have been in this country who pay taxes.
Yeah,
These immigrants pay
tax.
taxes, billions of dollars in taxes.
And
They
don't get
pay,
no
and they don't get
benefits.
nothing back.
Nothing back.
They pay people. I mean, you need to go without some vegetables. You gonna do something like that.
Right,
You need to be to be that heinous, that
right.
nasty. These people learn, like say learn something, read something, learn something. Don't say, he doing this for us. Well, what is he doing?
Right.
But learn what you're missing out on.
Right.
Learn, that
Yeah,
these people billions of dollars in taxes,
yeah,
and we gonna lose that.
right. Because you done cut off a third of your tax base.
Yeah.
You
Oh yeah.
you done cut off a third of your tax base by running them out of town. So now when you paying $8-9 for a salad, a small salad, you're gonna be like, why is it so high? Because
Yeah.
you got the cucumbers and the tomatoes out there rotting in the fields.
Right.
Okay,
Straight up. Yeah.
so I told somebody one day, I said, hey man, when they taking our jobs. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I can tell you, you could get on that bus to go down in Immokalee, get on that bus 3:30 in the morning and take you right down to
Immokalee, Florida, right?
and you can
Immokalee,
start picking
Florida.
up the strawberries and throwing watermelon if they
Yeah.
take your jobs. And they got plenty of jobs down there now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But see, that always a lie.
Yeah.
It always a smoke screen. My granddad used to tell me, he'd tell me when I was small, he said, when I used to act up and whatever, he said, I done told you now. I told you one time, but now I'm going to make you feel me.
Mm.
We told you, but you didn't hear me. But you're going to feel me now. And I never forgot that. And I kind of relate that to what we're going through now. We told y'all, the book told y'all, but now you got to feel it.
But Lynn, what about the people who don't take time to read the book? They just want to go on the rhetoric and the best they hear. Like I see so many people on TikTok. These guys go around and ask these people at these rallies, why are you here? What do you hear? What do you? Can you name something? And they say the same thing. They couldn't tell you just now what I told. Now, do you think if somebody got up at a rally and said, okay, you get rid of the Mexican immigrants that are here working, if you get rid of them and you follow him, your leaders telling you, and they would tell him how much money that they are contributing to the United States tax system, you think maybe they might come around a little bit and say, well, you know what, man, we don't, this guy's going to, he's going to take our food away. They don't have nobody to get the food. Now you cutting in the billions of dollars in taxes that they're paying.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, they're illegal. They're not illegal. It's if you want to go from a misdemeanor to a felony, it's like how do you say it? It's a misdemeanor that doesn't involve being locked up or arrested. It's a misdemeanor that you get an email, a paper, you might pay a little fine or something like that. But it's not a felony by any means. So to tell these people, oh, we got these illegal immigrants back, man, they are paying you in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Your tax system, and they're harvesting the food you like. When you go out to these steakhouses and you want these salads and vegetables and all that, because you hear the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
It's just so much, man, the hate.
Yeah.
The hate is it's just sometimes, I tell you, man, it's like, and I ain't going to a commentary, but just to sit back and how can people hate you so much? We, hey, we didn't even ask to be here.
No.
We were kidnapped. If you want to go back to our culture,
Right.
we were kidnapped,
Right.
put on ships. In the bottom of the ship with mess, pee, and a lot of us didn't make it.
Right.
We didn't ask to be here, man.
Right.
And to get treated like crap.
Yeah.
It just sometimes I just sit and I just think, and it's just like, I mean, I just
Yeah. And I mean the immigrants, they're not even get treated as no one near as bad as we got treated. But like you said, to your point, you running them out of town, you don't even realize that the taxes that they pay, like I said, they don't benefit from it. But that's going towards your retirement, your Social Security, your Medicaid. All right, they keeping prices low, and they're doing a service that we all need in this country.
that we not gonna do.
That we not
He
going
ain't,
to do.
Joker ain't gonna go down there and work 15 hours, put in a 15-hour day.
Check
You
the
know
water
it.
bills. We ain't gonna do it.
Nobody they gonna do it. They're gonna put it in 15 hours. And they talking about bringing factories here to build iPhones and all. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that.
And see, that goes back to common sense. Sometimes our parents always told us about you got to have common sense. I don't care how much book. I know Mr. Williams say that all the time. Okay, how much book knowledge you got? If you ain't got no common sense, you ain't what they got no.
Yeah, common sense.
And people, we elect. Well, I ain't say we. The Americans elect the people without basic common sense.
Mm-hmm.
It don't take a rocket scientist. I'm going to give you a perfect example. A lot of these guys that's in Congress now, the Senate, House of Representatives, whatever, Supreme Court, they were taught by a public school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But yet now you want to pass laws to get rid of teachers. Now, what's
Department of Education. Department of Education.
Shut down the whole Department of Education. You got there with an education from a public teacher or private, however you got there through public education. Now you want to kick the bridge down so nobody else can get across there. Does that make any sense? Is that common sense? You fire all the people who are on the probationary period. So who's going to replace the people that's going to retire within the next 4 or 5 years? You don't fire everybody that's supposed to come behind and replace them. Common sense, man. Common sense. We have lost, they have lost common sense because of their racial bias and prejudice against other people. And that's what it is. She didn't win the election because they didn't like the black girl. They don't want Mexicans here and people from Honduras and Venezuela doing the work because they taking jobs.
Take your jobs.
Whose job? They taking my job.
You not going down there and pull those and do what they doing?
Listen, because I
work 15 hours.
Listen, you and I, we picking up oranges and peas coming up, cutting a lot of grass coming up when we were kids.
Man, to do that 15 hours?
Yeah.
We not gonna do that.
No, we're not gonna do that.
They not gonna do it.
No.
That's why the farmers I saw after that interview, they showed that acres and acres just going bad.
Going bad. Sweet potatoes and can't even get them out the ground. Nobody crop it. All because of their
ingrained hate. And he came about to stir that up.
He stirred it up. That's all he did.
Which I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go to another. I'm gonna do a little seesaw on that too. In a way, I almost kind of, I don't say thank him for that, but he brought out some people that we never kind of thought of that would be like that. He made it okay, as they think it is, to be ignorant and be hateful. So in turn, we see some folks that we thought, oh, them the good folks, them. But no, you voting against. You're voting against us, me, you. You vote against yourself.
Yeah.
And these are some things that we might not have seen. So he brought he brought the hate out in the open.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel. You know, I mean, what other way can you describe? You know,
I'm gonna say something.
you got a flag. You got flags on our cars to show that we want to make sure you don't know that I'm not with this group. I'm with this group. You know, is the hate has just come out in so many different ways.
I'm gonna say something that someone might hear on this podcast.
Say it.
Which I don't care.
Say it.
But he exposed the church.
Yes, say
he
it.
Exposed the church. And I'm going to say he exposed the evangelical white folks in the church.
Say it.
He stirred the witch's brew. See, the brew was already there, but he came and stirred it. He brought it back from their great-grandfathers, all that hate. They never really left them. They just put on a mask. They draped themselves in the Bible and the American flag.
Mm-hmm.
But he exposed the church. So we see people now for who they are.
Yeah, see people who they're. You're not a Jesus follower. You're Christianity and Jesus follower are two different things. Right. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, two different things.
If I say, hey, that's Lynn over there, Lynn is a Jesus follower. And then I was like, no, that's Steve over there. Steve is a Christian. I think if I had to pick the two, I'm gonna go see Lynn first.
Yeah.
Because I know Lynn is following what Jesus would have done.
Yeah.
Not what the Christian. What the Christian you have. It's just, oh man, it's something. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. That is so. And you know what I heard somebody say, when you can throw God in there. Yeah. You can change. This one guy, and he was a white guy. He was real good. He said, when you can throw God in there, it starts with rhetoric and blah blah. You start believing it, and you can throw God in there. You're gonna get people. Oh, we doing this because God said. We don't. And he said nothing about Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus was there. Jesus was in the pool hall. Jesus was in the whole house. Right. Jesus was in the bar. Jesus was in the. Jesus went to get the people, and you got the Christian. Oh, just. Man, I learned so much. You know,
it's this guy. You know, we're fighting. You know, we're fighting for the unborn babies. We're gonna fight those people. We're gonna this and the other kid. I said, well, let me ask you something. And I had to take my time with it. I had to do like old Baptist preacher. I said, where were you when Jesus and God made the heavens and the earth? Did he need you then? Where were you when he made the fish and the fowls of the air? Mm-hmm. Did he need you? Mm-hmm. Where were you when he made the moon and the stars? Did he need you? Mm-hmm. So he don't need you out there fighting for him. No. All right. I think he could do a pretty good job by himself, because if he created all this here, why he need you to fight for him and try to, they say, try to stop other people from living their lives because you disagree with it. Mm-hmm. Why does he need you? What can you bring to the table that he can't bring?
What did he say?
He couldn't say that. He looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like,
he had no words.
They're going to answer.
No words.
No words, because he don't see. That's why we go back to, you know, how these people got exposed for hypocrites and Pharisees and Sadducees. He looked at it, he said, why would you not want to do unto others what you would have them do unto you? Mm-hmm. Because see, now that you're expressing this hate toward everybody, hate gonna come back on you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's gonna come back on you. Mm-hmm. And like, remember Jeremiah Wright? Now they was all up in arms because Jeremiah Wright said, God damn America. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But he was exposing them for the hypocrisy. We saw it. Mm-hmm. And we see it now. Mm-hmm. We see it now.
We see it. And you
know, there's some people that told me when I ran for political office, mm-hmm. and I found it so disturbing. Mm. They said, Lynn, you'll be the only Democrat that I vote for. And I'm like,
yeah, I remember you did tell me that.
And I'm like, I said, wait a minute. You know, I'm looking like.
That just shocked you.
Am I that good guy? That good, you know, that good black guy? That good.
That shocked you.
So we're not voting for people based on their ability and using common sense. We just
Mm-hmm.
vote for them because they're in the same political party we are. I don't vote for a man because he's a black man. I didn't vote for
Exactly.
Obama because he's black. I voted for him because of
Exactly.
his policies. And I told
Exactly.
them people when I wrote that column, the first president I ever voted for was Ronald Reagan.
You know, I was going to say, I voted for Jeb Bush
Yeah,
when he ran for governor.
yeah,
Because, I mean, now, you know, but I wasn't ashamed to say that.
right,
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't voting for somebody because he was in my party.
right. So I felt a certain type of way because I felt like, well, man, I'm like, yeah, I'm the only guy you voted for. I'm the only guy that and you're not voting for me because of my policies. You vote for me because you know me and you think I'm that good.
Mm,
You know how we say it that we that
yeah,
good guy.
yeah,
So, and these are people that are in the church,
yeah.
the
Hmm.
church that
That's
I
that, that
attended.
that's something we're gonna do some research on there. I'm glad you brought that up because I've been seeing a lot of feedback, and I sent you a couple things earlier in the week. Some memes that I'd seen and some stories. Uh, and this one guy, he really came up with a really good uh, definition of talking about how using the church to sway people.
Yeah,
And it's so many views have come up on that. Like I said, I used the one on you just now about, and I'd heard this being a Christian and a Jesus follower.
right.
And I believe our buddy John Fugelsang uh, quotes that once in a while.
Yeah, yeah, you know,
Um, and being a Christian and a Jesus, if you are part of the church, you would, and you really care,
right,
unless you just there because you think it's a club.
right,
You want to be part of that club. If you're
right,
there for a purpose, you look and say, why did somebody call me? Well, Jesus did this. Well, you see those bracelets, so you say, what would Jesus do?
right,
And then you think about what would Jesus do? And, oh, I'm a Christian. Well, a Christian, so you can do what?
right,
So you can, even the evangelical setup in this whole thing, and your president now, he talks so bad about all of them.
yeah,
And he knows, he said, if I can get this group here, I can get this group here.
right.
Because he know he don't get no brothers and sisters. That's
No,
you gonna get a few out there, a
right,
few strays out there,
right.
but you ain't gonna get the whole.
You're
Because
gonna hold it lock.
we ain't adopting to that mess. That's out.
No,
But he's like, if I can get this group here, I can get this group here, I can get this group, and well, y'all the majority. I mean, we not the majority. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Anything we do in this country, from winning a Grammy to sports, anything, we got to have some togetherness because it's not enough of us.
right. Exactly.
When Michael Jackson won all those Grammys, he didn't win it because we voted for him. Everybody had to like him
Everybody
to
had like
get that because it's not enough of
not
us.
enough. Nope, it's not.
So it just and that's what he, and on that note there, I just wanted to add to it that something came to my mind about the Supreme Court. How could you get the highest court in the land to, well, say the court, but was it Justice Roberts, I believe? Is he the one who the cause of this that basically gave you president the right to commit larceny? Basically,
Basically, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
he gave him. How do you
yeah,
do that?
yeah.
How do you
Right.
do that? Can you write a letter to the Supreme Court? Hey, I want to just go out and do what I want to do. Can you give me the right to just do what I want to do?
Yeah,
Can you?
I mean,
Can you?
because now you set precedents, so you can always revert back to the case where you rule where Donald Trump can do anything you want to do.
Do
Uh,
anything? Yeah.
yeah, and so
How do you get that? How does that get done like that? Would President Obama been able to do that?
oh no, 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 no,
Why? Why?
no,
Tell me
no.
why, please, because I don't know.
he,
I have no clue. I have no clue.
he's too good of a guy to do that.
Oh
They
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
allowed to
that's
do it,
right.
and his skin color different, so
I'm just joking.
he got to be above the fray all the time.
I mean, you get. Do we? No, we going all kind of places. But do you have anything to counteract keep the Supreme Court in check? Do we got to go to Mars for that? So I mean, who who do you go to? They can just say anything they want to say, and we got to follow it.
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
Who
you gotta listen to Ellie Mistal's new book. Oh man, the 11 laws that we shouldn't have. And I've only heard part, but man,
the
Ellie
Supreme
hits.
Court has lost its way. And I'm not saying everybody on the Supreme Court, but
no, not everybody. No, not everybody.
Clarence Thomas, he been lost his way. Alito, he lost his way. Roberts, he used to be pretty moderate, but he's gone. Yeah, they've lost their way. They have lost all sense of lawfulness. Let me put it like that.
Who keeps them in check, though? Who do we?
Well,
do we have to go to another solar system?
Congress is supposed to keep them in check, but Congress has given up that responsibility to do that job
because they're made up of the what we trying to fight.
So it goes back to America has let Donald Trump do what he want to do.
America,
they're responsible.
Yeah,
they give up that power.
We go all around and we come right back to that one piece. It's like they say, it goes full circle. It goes full circle. And when you said America's responsible, it comes all the way back around with me to where, like I said, I have no feeling I'm cold to anybody from this point on. I don't care what you look like. I don't care if you're black, white, red, yellow, green. If you picked this after all, like you said, all the Project 2025, all the education that we had, if you picked this, I'll drive by you on the road. I don't care if you're walking with your whole family. If I know you and you pick this, and you could be your kids walking on the side of the road with holding cans, somebody need water. If I stop and say, I'm gonna say, who'd you vote for? Right. And if you don't say what I need to hear, I'm gonna pull off.
Right.
I'm serious. I mean, that's how cold I am about this, Glenn. I mean, because it took me a while, man, to really get over this, man. I was going to work, and saying people hate me like this.
Yeah.
People hate my family like this. Yeah. People hate my kids, my grandkids. How you hate? I mean, oh man,
I just hate the ground you walk on.
I just wish that I could wave a wand and we all go back to Africa. I'm serious. Yeah. We go back there, and over there, because we would have been prospering big time over there. I just wish I could just wave right now, man. I know I'm getting kind of out there, but we all just lift up, rise up, and go back to the motherland, because that's where they want us to go. Right. And let's see what happens to this country. Yeah. What do you think would happen?
This country would cease to exist the way it is now, because you got to understand how they got this country: by robbing, stealing, lying. Deceitfulness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it like you said, it came full circle, because this is what you get when you start off that way. Mm-hmm. America, we put a criminal in the White House who's a thief, a liar. This whole tariff is nothing but a big scheme to beat the stock market, the cash in. That's all it is. That's
what I've been hearing.
The man doing it right in front of your face. Him and his cronies. They ripping the United States off right in front of your face. And I feel bad because it's my money going in their pockets.
Exactly.
But now they want to pass a $6 trillion tax break for the filthy rich.
If you're trying to
cut fraud, waste, and abuse, But yet you finna try to pass a $6 trillion, not billion, $6 trillion tax break. You finna add to the deficit. We're gonna pay. Listen, your kids will be dead and gone. Your kids, your grandkids, and probably your great great grandkids gonna pay that bill.
It's just insane to even try to even imagine
Yeah,
how this came about. But then I go back to maybe this needs to happen. Maybe
yeah,
the people out there, all of us who don't make $50 million, maybe all of us need to see that. Hey, we and these people that you go at it with on that Substack and Facebook thing you got there.
yeah,
Maybe y'all would see that. We as that word, it's a little phrase I got. We are more alike than we are different, or whatever it is you
yeah.
hear now. Maybe you might see that because I'm gonna tell you, Lynn, I don't hate the people. I don't hate the people because they don't look like me. I don't. I don't think. I don't think you and I have ever been like
Right.
that.
No,
We don't hate people.
no,
I don't hate that man over there because he got that truck with that big flag on there. Because
yeah,
shoot, I got a big truck, but
right. Yeah,
I don't hate that person because they doing this. Why do you hate us so much?
right.
Why do you let somebody stir up hate? But you let somebody stir up so much hate
Yeah,
that it now is affecting you. You you let somebody stir. He pulled you right in there.
yeah.
He pulled you in there,
Was right.
and you feeling it. You now, if you like I say, you got 50 million in the bank somewhere, you want to get that tax break, black. I don't care, but if not, then we all together.
Yeah,
We all, and I think we kind of saw that with those marches they had over this weekend. A lot of people pulled together from what I saw, but I don't know how much that's going to do. But I mean, I don't know how you feel about that.
yeah. I mean, he don't care about marching. We can
You don't
march
care
on
about march. They don't care. They're going to do it.
see what.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to be negative, but I mean, I'm like,
Yeah, he don't care
okay,
about that.
all this marching, what is it? Is that really going to do anything, or
No,
how you feel?
it don't move them. It don't move them people. It don't move them
It don't move. No.
because his same 39% gonna be with him regardless of whatever he does.
39%. That's
And the news media, mainstream media, corporate media gonna be with him and follow his every beck and call. And I
That's
wonder
why we don't.
sometimes,
That's why we don't need.
why
That's
they
why we don't
following
need
him?
them.
Why are they giving him that attention? Because
That's why we don't
American
need them.
people, I go back to American people, they got an appetite for it. They got an appetite for foolishness and
Appetite for
deceitfulness.
destruction, like
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses
And
said.
like you said, they don't care as long as it's not affecting them. They don't care if it even affect them now.
But now it is. Now I think now we get into reality, into this. It's not a I won't say dystopia, but more like an apocalyptic type of situation, which like you mentioned, some people standing in line, food lines, and
Bread line, yeah, man.
bread lines, and this and various, and it's going to affect everybody. And so I don't care if you a custodial worker to an engineer. You're gonna feel. I heard a guy say yesterday he in 3 days he lost 25,000 out of his retirement.
Yeah.
And he literally about to go crazy. And he said, "Should I call up my company, Fidelity, and just tell them just to send me all my money?" He was on TikTok going just going bat wild. And I'm thinking, and I'm looking at him, feeling a little bit. Then I'm tell you the coldness in me. Then stop this. Wait a minute. Did you vote for this?
Yeah.
I mean, through all of that,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you, Lynn, I'm just straight up. I'm just cold on that, right? I'm just straight up. Even through all of this, I mean, I had to do it because I was losing it.
Yeah.
I'm smiling now to keep from going. I ain't gonna let this mess with me.
Right.
But I'm just gonna go back to, did you ask for this?
Yeah.
Did you ask for this? If you asked for this, I have nothing for you. I have nothing. I poured it like everything we should say. I've had a half a jug of water.
Right.
I pour it out and water a plant before I give it to you.
Right.
If you need it. Because this is cold blooded,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
cold
you
blooded,
got to keep
and
her
you
with a long 100 yards
feeling
in
it.
school.
You feeling it now. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't care if these people. I don't care if a million of them lose all their retirement. I don't. I wouldn't give a kick because if you voted for it,
Yeah,
if you voted for that,
you voted for that.
if you have that much hate
Right,
in you for marginalized people, if you voted for that, I don't care. He can have it all.
right.
He can just take it from me, and I see you sitting there, and
Yeah,
you just, well, did you? I didn't think it was gonna
yeah,
happen to me. It
yeah.
was supposed to only happen to y'all darkies,
Huh.
you know. I'm just saying that that's what they really want to
Right,
say. Some of them,
right. Oh yeah, that's what it really was because
and,
that's
and,
one.
and yeah,
That's
and
one of
it's
the
hey,
first things I
and
posted.
it's some of your darkies out there. Excuse me, like,
And that's one of the
that
first
asked
things I
for it
posted.
too.
I posted. I never forget. That started a lot of controversy. You know, I said
Mm-hmm.
I really feel bad for the people that lose their jobs. And
Mm-hmm.
man, that set off a firestorm that went on for
Why?
weeks.
Well, I mean, you just being honest.
Yeah, and I do feel bad because I hate for I don't want to see people lose their job because I've lost my job and we've lost jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a good feeling. But the self
If you could have
inflicted wound,
prevented it, yeah.
yeah,
If you could have prevented it,
yeah. But that see when I lost my job one time, it wasn't because of anything I did. It's because there was restructuring. There was layoff.
right?
It was just stuff going on.
Yeah,
But
yeah. We both went through that. Yeah,
these people lost their job for self-inflicted wound because when you voted for that,
self-inflicted. Yeah,
you self-inflicted yourself.
you voted for. Yeah, you said, and
Yeah,
you hear some people say, "Oh, some of them like it might not get me to." It's going to get you some way.
we'll get you.
Some way. You might be up in that big $1 million house over there, down the way there, and
Yeah,
you got
Tortoise
two or
Island
three
somewhere.
cars garage
Yeah,
somewhere. You might, but you still got to put some gas in your car, and unless you got one of them electric cars, but then your electricity gonna go up higher. But then you got to get groceries to feed them 4 or 5 kids you got. And
correct.
then you it's gonna hit you some way. And like I said, this already I got this email today about this car parts vendor that I use sent me an email. They said that their prices will be going up to buy now,
Yeah,
basically before the week is up. Buy now because of April 3rd, things went into effect. And
yeah,
I'm like, wow. And it said on it because of the tariffs.
yeah.
And car parts, where
Oh
our
yeah.
car parts come from? Where they come? I think they said like 30,000 car parts. What are those car parts? We don't make them here in Georgia, Florida,
They come from Mexico,
Mexico,
China.
China.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
not too much from Canada, but a lot of
right,
from
right.
Mexico and China.
Canada,
That's all those
we got our lumber and from
Canada.
Canada,
Yeah,
and
they got
that's gonna
tariffs
be
on them.
another thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we get stuff, but it's gonna affect car part, your, mechanics,
yep.
automotive shops. Prices go. It's gonna hit you some
Oh yeah,
way,
it's gonna hit.
and
You'll feel it.
and that's the only thing to keep me sane is like I said, you know, I'm like, did you ask for? Did you pick him?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I
yeah,
didn't think it was gonna mess with me. I didn't think it. Well, I see you.
exactly.
I see you later. I had some jugs of water in the back, but I know some people down the road could use it better. Some people would appreciate it better. I'm sorry about that.
Exactly.
I'm I'm straight up, man. I'm just this is the
No,
hate
because you
that
got to look at it like this here. The people that voted for this guy lets me know they don't care about my future like I care about their future. They don't
exactly
care about my kids or my future grandkids like I care about their kids, their future grandkids.
right,
This is a
right.
one-way street. So you're trying to take away education. You don't want us to get ahead. You don't want us to learn. You're trying to erase Black history. So you
Hmm.
really don't give a about how I feel or what we're going through.
Hmm.
So yeah, I kind of feel your sentiment there. So why should I care about the people that voted for this guy? You know, because
No,
y'all didn't care about their own selves.
yeah, and like say knowing you, and I can honestly, I don't go out with that kind of hate. We didn't come up like that. we came up in an area. We always say we came up in an area where it was so cool that we were all able to mix
Yeah.
and the music and
Yeah.
culture and instead of like yeah, oh, somebody grew up in Chicago or part of New York, a borough where they didn't say we saw everybody.
Sorry about it.
We and our kids learned the same thing and
Learn the
learned how
same
to
thing.
be like
Yeah.
we did. I mean,
Yeah.
they learned all the music from everybody. Learning, so
Yeah.
we didn't go out hating people.
No.
I remember all the way back to kindergarten. I man, get along with everybody.
Yeah.
So when I see that somebody, it really, I'm gonna tell you, it psychologically got me bad. I
You
mean,
can see it. Well, you can see
it
it with
really
what I deal with. Yeah.
to see that you hate me that much, man. If I could just put us on a spaceship and go back to the motherland, I'd do it
Yeah.
in a second.
Oh yeah.
You hate me that much. You just want to see me run that end around and make
Right.
that touchdown.
Yeah.
Go out on that corner and do a over under, come do a roundhouse and
Right.
drive and hit and drive and slam. You want to see me do that?
Or make that saving hit on the quarterback on the
Yeah,
on
yeah.
defense.
That's what you want to see me do.
Yeah.
And if I'm not doing that, I'm no good to you.
Right. No good.
That's taking us back to the minstrel days, back in the days when let's
Yeah.
pull this guy out here and play the violin, at the slave,
Yeah.
at the mansion, and the House and Field brothers, you know about that,
Right.
you know. That's all you want to see me do. If I don't put the ball in the hoop, I don't run that. I don't make a
Right.
touchdown. Hit a home run. I mean, but most of if I'm not doing that, I'm no good to you.
No good to you.
And that just man, it almost kind of hurts because you think that we would have been the ones who were changing history. The Gen Xers. We were the ones who would have made a difference. All of us, and yet
Yeah.
we've gone backwards.
Yeah. We have
Literally,
back in time.
literally backwards. We've gone. We're fighting for things that they were supposed to have been already taken care of in the 60s.
Yeah.
And you know what our parents and other folks fought,
Yeah.
and we've gone backwards, and it's because you don't like the way I look.
Right.
Why? We like I say, and people, you hear people from different marginalized groups say that, but when you get to us,
Yeah.
I mean, you have Jewish, Spanish, but when you get to us, literally, and we didn't set out and say, hey, let's get in the boat and go that way. Did we do that? No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
We were forced
Yeah.
to come here.
Yeah.
We didn't ask to be here.
No.
We did not ask to be, and I truly believe that if we never got here, the same things that we're doing over here, we would have done them in Africa. I just believe that in my
Yeah.
mind, because when you look back to the days of BC and BC days, and you look at the African kings and queens.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they say that an African king he was the richest man ever, and not Elon Musk. It was a black king.
Yeah.
That but I believe we would have done the things that we're doing here over there. I just somehow believe that.
Yeah, I believe so. Or done it even better than we do it here.
Or better. I believe we would have, especially when you look back and see how many things that we invented, in space, and technical areas, a lot of things. I believe we would have done just as good or better. But just that people hate you like that.
Yeah.
But now you've hated so hard that it's getting you now. And I just go back to maybe this is supposed to happen. Right. Maybe this is supposed to happen to really, truly bring us together. Maybe this collision of I mean, because I think it's going to get pretty deep.
Well,
I think it's going to get. I think gas is going to go up.
Yeah.
Pretty high. I think. And we're gonna have to. People want to say, hey, I'm not like, and it's so crazy. I see people. I'm not like these people here. I'm not like these people here. Don't please don't class me with these. You know what I mean? You're seeing that. You see it all over TikTok, all over social
Right.
media. It
My
just,
thoughts on that. Yeah, I believe stuff's gonna go sky high. I believe we'll have to hit rock bottom. I think the last time that this country came together was 9/11. Everybody
okay.
felt so patriotic. Everybody felt the hurt. They felt the
Yeah.
hit. We felt it,
Yeah.
and we wanted to get those rascals. We were. I would say we weren't 100% together, but most of black and whites and other groups were
Hmm.
together.
Yeah.
But this feels different.
Hmm.
I don't believe that we will come together until they treat us and see us as equals.
Right.
Because
Right.
this has done something to our black sisters because
Hmm.
they say they sitting it out. They sitting
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah. Send it
This has
out. Yeah.
done something to our children.
Hmm.
They see it. My daughter's
Hmm.
talking to me about this all the time.
Hmm.
It's done something to our education.
Hmm.
And it's done something to most of the black men, educated black men that involved.
Hmm.
We're not going to be together until they see us and treat us as equals. And it's just not. I just don't believe it's ever going to happen. Not on this planet. Not in this
Not,
country.
not on this planet.
Not in this country.
Man, that's
And it's sad to say we're not saying
that's
that we won't have
that's
friends and
deep.
we'll be kind and polite, but this has done damage
That's deep, man.
to when it does damage to your kids
Yeah.
and your grandkids. They can see it.
Hmm.
You know, they can see that little Johnny treating him or her different in kindergarten now because they parents are MAGA supporters and they got the same ideology as Trump and these other people.
Mm.
They feel it.
Mm.
You know,
Yes, man.
you teach kids how to be prejudiced.
Yeah.
Our parents
Mm.
never taught us to hate nobody. They just said,
Oh,
watch them,
watch. Yeah.
watch them, watch them. They didn't say hate them. They say,
No.
just watch them.
Yeah.
And now we see it.
Hmm.
So
It's
that's why I
it's
am with that, bro. That's why I am with that. And I, I, uh, I blend in. I move. I know how to move with them. But I watch. I watch them now.
yeah, yeah. We do a how to say it? We code switch daily.
Yeah,
We have to
we have to.
survive. We have
We got to.
to um and I'm gonna tell you, I've gotten to the point I really I don't I don't say I don't trust any of somebody people that don't look like me because some of us that's like, but I don't have the trust that I used to, and I just keep things on a business
Yeah,
level
yeah,
because I don't know if that person is going to drop me and feed me to the wolves or whatever because that's basically what's happened. I just kind of like I just stay back and I just like you say watch
right. Watch.
because you you I can't stop going back to
Yeah,
we didn't ask to be here.
we did.
We didn't. I mean, you look at all the other groups, they're trying to leave a country because of this. They're
Yeah,
trying to get here because of that, how they started out. But we didn't ask to be here.
right,
And we built this place up we built everything in Washington.
right,
We built all the buildings in white,
right.
and you just want to how can somebody just stir that up? But we're taking this into a different we get into a different but it all comes back around though. But I tell you though, Lid, we got to move on, and
Yeah,
pull out some closing thoughts here because we got
yeah,
enough for our next show to discuss some other things.
right.
But do you have any? We'll let you close us out here on any and
Well, yeah. One thing I want to say is that I thought about my grandmother the other day, um,
hmm
my grandfather,
yeah,
but
yeah, I
especially my
remember.
grandmother.
Yeah, I
You know,
remember
I was
her.
able to share with her the joy and the experience. I'm pretty sure you did with your father too.
hmm
To be able to see the first black president of the
Yeah.
United States elected to the
hmm
highest office in the land.
Yeah.
Her eyes got to see that.
hmm She got to see it. Oh,
She got
yeah.
to witness
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
I think
I
about
was
that
so
often.
glad to be able to share that experience with her,
hmm
knowing what they had to go through to get to
hmm
this point.
hmm
And on the heels of him being the president, she passed away in 2010, but she got a chance to just cast a
hmm
vote for him.
Right. Right.
And after that, here come a man who don't like me, don't care for me,
hmm
but I was still able to tolerate it.
hmm
Tolerate it. Because what's more important to me that I got to share with my ancestors
hmm
something that they thought their eyes would never
Would
behold in
never
their
see.
lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I got to share that. Not only we got to share that with her, but our kids got to share it. My kids got to share it with her.
hmm
To see
hmm
the glory of the Lord shine through.
hmm
So to me, I'm gonna take that and just say, you know what, anything is possible.
hmm
And I don't say it from a negative point of view. And I would have loved for Kamala Harris to win, but going back to your point,
mm
and see that we have to go through this ethnic cleansing.
mm
Because I told somebody, I said, listen, as far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump is a terrorist. He's an
hmm
economic terrorist. He's a
Domestic.
social,
Yeah.
domestic. He's a social terrorist.
hmm
He's no better than, and he should be held accountable for the crimes. But the American people should be held accountable for putting him in that situation, putting him in position to do all that.
I believe that's about to happen too.
Yeah. So those are my thoughts as we close.
I believe that's about to happen. I mean, that's a good way to put it. We can't physically lock them up, but that FAFO is going to shine through.
Yeah.
And I'm not politically correct. I will not be politically or try to be politically correct on any of that.
Right.
That just hits me so hard because, like I say, first thing I think about my grandbabies,
Yeah.
and it just shouldn't have to be going through that.
Exactly.
This is not correct.
Right.
This is not correct, and we will have some more on that on a future show. We'll break into that. But Len, I want to thank you for joining us on this episode. Well, it's always great. Always great to get your input. We learned something from you, and also on the political side because you've been in that realm as well. And it's always good to hear your deep feelings for what's happening, and you break it down as a coach would, and for everybody to understand. So we want to thank you all for joining us on this podcast, and like I say, we're called the Soul of Generation X, and we're called that for a reason. We don't bite our tongues with that title because we're out here to represent, but we're still going to represent everybody. We're going to represent, and we're going to accept everybody, but we're going to tell you who we are and what we are, and that is the Soul of Generation X. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.